Amin Bhatia, nominated for a Canadian Screen Award for X Company. Can you tell me about a little bit about the involvement with X Company and the sound of X Company?
I am sharing this project with Ari Posner, amazing composer. We've worked together on a number of shows together, including Flashpoint. And it was our work together on Flashpoint that I think, because Mark and Stephanie Morgensen are the producers of that, the creators of it, they asked us to get involved in this. X Company is a very unique challenge because even though we're dealing with World War II and the history of it, they wanted a modern sound. So we've found places where we kind of pay homage to that style. So we've gotten to do some 1940s stuff. At the same time, we're also doing some very modern textures and sound design things to portray emotion, portray evil. The Nazis are usually heavy metal guitar textures and stuff, so it's an interesting challenge. But the bottom line is the stories are great. We've fallen in love with the characters. It's very similar to Flashpoint. You've got a team that's working together to deal with some missions, and we love the characters. We've just fallen in love with the story and the performances, and it's very easy and enjoyable to come up with music for this show.
And in fact, it's very different than the kind of music you were doing on Flashpoint, too. I know that was a key point, that you wanted it to not be the same kind of territory.
Yes. Unlike Flashpoint, the show, the music is more, it's more subtle, and it takes more, it doesn't lead the way it used to in Flashpoint. And that works for this show. The show is more cerebral, and it has more of a longer arc, the way certain stories and things develop. So our job is to be more to provide a texture. That being said, we've gotten to do some really melodic things. We've written love themes for certain characters. The opening drums that we use we took advantage of Morse code, and so the drums are beating out SOS in Morse code. Little behind the scenes things like that. But I need to say, I think a big part of the success of X Company is we all get together. In this day and age of Skype and emails and all that other kind of stuff, we actually all meet in a room at Technicolor and review the show and decide where we need music, where we don't need music. Then a week later, we actually get together and play them what we've done. And there's ideas, and everybody's encouraged to have input. If we make a mistake, we say, okay, we tried this idea, it was a good idea, let's try and do it this way. I can't tell you how inspiring and liberating that is, to work with clients that all of us want to collaborate and make a great show. And this extends to the sound design team with Kevin Howard and his crew. It extends to the editors, Lisa and Teresa and Jean. And we just love going to work in the morning. Ari and I are really enjoying ourselves on this show. And I think it's coming through in the music, and certainly with the nomination, so we're thrilled.
How does it differ when you're working alone as opposed to working with Ari? Like when you mentioned stuff you're working on. Sure. I know you've done, all kinds of stuff. Iron Eagle 2, Once a Thief, Kung Fu, Queer as Folk. How is that different than when you're working with him?
I'll be perfectly honest with you. We're both composers, and we both have our musical goals, and we both have our profiles, and we both want to continue to develop in this industry. So every now and then there are projects where one of us is like, I'd like to do this without having to rely on you. And so I've worked on some IMAX films, so like, no, I'm not going to have Ari help me out on this. And he's worked on some films too, where he's like, no, I got this one. And so it's great. I think the things that we learn from each other, we actually take to our solo projects. But every now and then, I think it's more about a workload or a time situation where we're faced with something that is so mammoth. And in this day and age, with all of this new technology, things have to happen a lot faster than ever before. I've never known the industry to be this quick, where you've had to turn things around so quickly. We have all these computers, we have all this technology. We're expected to turn things around now in a matter of hours. What used to, we were used to given days. We complain to be given weeks, and we'd be given days. Now we're getting hours. So sometimes it just gets to the point where, no, you want to have a partner, or you want to have people around you that you trust and you know they can cover certain parts of it. And so each time one of us goes away and learns something on our own, we bring it back to what we're both doing together and stuff like that. So it works out that way. And it's nice to have someone else to keep the bar up and to challenge you. We've talked about this in some SOCAN stuff that you guys have done, but our best compliment to each other is, one of us will write a piece of music and the other one will hear it for the first time and go, I hate you. And it's wonderful because it challenges. Each of us are challenging the other. Like, how are you doing that? And in the end, the music benefits, the clients benefit, our directors and producers benefit. And it's a great way to work. Yeah. So it's better than I ever imagined it would be. It really is great.
How important is SOCAN's back-end royalties in keeping things stable for you as a revenue stream?
It's absolutely crucial. I don't think the risks that we're taking and the time that is spent in doing demos for other clients and the work that our agents are doing, it wouldn't be possible without the base that we get from SOCAN. After a certain number of years in this business, I've been in it for 30 years, Ari's been in it for 20 years. As your profile develops and those back-end projects, those projects which get sold over and over again overseas, that starts to become a secondary income, and you absolutely need it. And the thing to remember, because in this market you get a lot of people going, ooh, you get back-end royalties, isn't that great? The point is, we don't get anything unless the show sells again. That's the whole point. You have a piece of property that sells again. And so that money goes to the producer, it goes to the director, it goes to the writers, it goes to the actors. And so the composers are part of that. We're part of that intellectual property. The melodies we come up with, we can't use those anywhere else. So it's only fair and it only makes sense that if a product gets to enjoy new revenue, then that revenue should be appropriately shared. And as we move into this new digital model, well, that's what we're all trying to figure out, and that's why we're very grateful that SOCAN is where it's at, so that the SOCAN people can deal with all of that stuff while we deal with the day-to-day of actually creating this stuff.
Thank you so much, Amin, and congratulations again.
Thank you very much, and thank you, SOCAN.